Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United of the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United, the National League, are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on Podcast, the Sunday service. First thing to note, and especially for Alan who mentioned it today, I've flipped the flag. So it's now the right way around to you lot and my OCD is proper playing me up, but it's all right, I'll be fine. It's only a few minutes. Joining me today, we have got Mark. Hello Mark, how are you? Nice to see you.
Hi Mike.
Yeah, and you're in your man cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Not some random hotel in Cornwall.
No, not this time. Not this time.
And that isn't as dodgy as it sounds, everyone. Sorry. And Claire, hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
You're not in a random dodgy hotel either, so
No, just some random dodgy flat. You're okay.
We're all good. So we will talk, obviously, about the game yesterday. But what I've got you both here, whatever. We'll talk about the other game that was just a few minutes ago. Ladies, or Sutton United women's team, and we won 11-0 against Clapham and took the title. Claire, do you want to?
It was. I must admit, hold my hands up here. First time I've been to one of the women's games. What a game to absolutely choose. I mean, Paul described me as a glory hunter on the way home. But I'll take it. It was absolutely cracking. Felt absolutely chuffed for them. Thoroughly deserved. Really good season by all accounts. And 11-0. I was slightly concerned that the scoreboard wouldn't go to 10, but it did its job. Beautiful.
Well, even before the game. So before the game started, first of all, Rosie blagged herself onto the pitch again. So Jazz was like, are you going to come on the pitch? And she's like, oh, yeah. Excuse me? You can't just do that. But before the game, you had a moment that made you decide you're going to be definitely coming back to watch the ladies again because Paul was getting a little bit of stick.
Oh, yeah. Everyone was giving him some jip. I thought it was great. As his sister, I enjoyed watching everyone give him a little bit of a hard time.
Yeah, that was a nice touch.
Normally, it's everyone telling me how lovely he is, and what a nice guy he is, and it's just exhausting, So it was nice.
He is a lovely guy.
I know, it's infuriating, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, there's annoying people, for God's sake.
So nice.
But,
Hi, Paul, if you're listening.
But Mark, what were your thoughts on the match? I know you talked to a few of them because your little one plays for the juniors, but hopefully not much longer.
Well, my little one is coming up 16, so not quite so little. She's officially unattached for the first time for 7 years. Started playing for Sutton United when she was 9, played her last game for Sutton United girls, and fingers crossed there may be a development into the women's section. But yeah, look, the women's section has just grown so much in the last 7 years. We had 2 girls teams when Charlotte joined, and look at the whole thing thriving now. 3 women's teams, 7 girls teams. I think it's 7 girls teams these days. It's amazing. But also to then have role models like today, going out there smashing Clapham Common or Clapham 11-0.
Yeah.
But the celebrations were great as well.
Yeah, it was really nice touch with allowing the kids to come on Obviously, I'm annoyed about that because she got on for the celebrations as well. So yeah, taking it really, really well. And Sally's going, "Why don't you just go on?" I'm not. I don't go on the pitch. I won't go on the pitch. But yeah, it was really nice. I luckily caught a couple of the goals. I got Faye's first goal. Faye, who's retiring. I got her first goal. I didn't get her second goal, which she's even said after the game she doesn't even know what happened because she kind of fell over and it hit her and it went in. But that was her last goal in Sutton United colours. It's brilliant. But yeah, promotion to the I've forgotten the name of it again now. It's the London and South East Regionals Premier Division, which is sort of the first, the top standard, I think, outside the national system.
One step below National League.
Yeah, so really, really well done. And anyone who sort of has come down today, I'm sure they'll come again. Alan on Facebook has mentioned that his wife's first game, and she's definitely planning on coming again. The worry on a few people coming to their first game of football with this today is that it's a lovely day. It's a lovely scoreline. It's not like that in January. But,
no, it's always like that.
Yeah.
The sun always shines on Gander Green Lane, Mike. Always.
That could be the song for the next FA Cup final. The sun always shines on Gander Green Lane. Write it down. Keep that one. Yeah, congratulations, ladies, and obviously we'll get a few of you more on another time through the summer because I got over my worry of being bullied, and I quite enjoyed the little chat the other day. It was quite a good one. After I finished ranting about all the social media and actually let them get a word in, it was quite fun. But on to Harrogate. Really odd and really weird. What were your thoughts going into the game? We'll start with you this time, Mark. What were your...
So yeah, obviously we were outside playoffs, Mike, but there were permutations which, to be honest with you, almost blew my mind. But I decided to forget about that, go along, watch a game, and hope we win, and then see what else happened. Because it's a funny old game, someone used to say. Look, go along, last game of the season, bit of a jolly, long journey on the train. Probably a couple too many. I did see you there, Claire, didn't I? I apologise.
You did. And you
had a few.
Imagine what happened today, so it's all right.
But yeah, so I decided just to go along for the game and then look at my phone at the end. Although someone in front of me, who's also on the screen, started showing me her phone.
Well, yeah, Claire, what were your thoughts before the game? So,
I mean, it's a strange one, isn't it? I think I've probably been nervous all week, and going into it, you have to kind of think we just need to do our job and worry about everybody else doing their jobs. And I think, you're looking at the table constantly, kind of trying to work out all the maths of who you need to do what. And it was just kind of thought of, okay, well, we'll do our job, focus on us, and then someone in the top two will do their job, and everything will be fine. And I think, I absolutely can't fault the boys. They fought really, really hard yesterday, and you could see the disappointment written on some of their faces at the end of it. And I said to you earlier, I still feel really hard done by, and quite frankly, I think I got to a point where I felt really entitled to it. I was just like, oh, well, we're going to get in the playoffs and we're going to go up and it's going to be amazing. And I've said it to you several times, Mike. I never ever dreamed of being a League Two team, but I allowed myself to dream of being a League One team, which is just ridiculous,
silly.
Absolutely stupid. But you take a little bit of time and you reflect. You think we finished 8th in our first season as a Football League team. And, our club has come on leaps and bounds. These boys have given it everything week in, week out for us this season. And I just have absolutely no right to be disappointed by not being in the playoffs. It's insane. Absolutely incredible. What an amazing journey we've been on this year, on and off the pitch. And I think one of the things today, being able to walk around the ground, just looking at how much Gander Green Lane has changed in the last 12 months, it's insane. And I just feel so lucky and privileged that that what's happening is happening, and we get to do it all again next season. So I might grumble. I will grumble, but I should.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anyone listening to the last week's podcast could probably hear that I was a little bit. That's it. We're done. There's nothing we could do. I did make the mistake of doing it on Sunday and not letting the Monday games take place, because when the Monday games both went in our favour, it was like, whoa, hang on a second. And as you said there, if someone had said to you at the start of the season, all you need on the last day of the season is to win your game and have the teams in first and second place who are both battling for the title to both win their games, I'll take those odds. They're pretty good odds. It was a bit flat watching or hearing from afar, is because you knew Swindon had scored really early, and that did kind of put a little bit of a dampener on it. But the game itself sounded a very entertaining game. I mean, I think the woodwork was hit 6-7 times for either side. But it sounded really, really entertaining. And there was that little bit of not controversy, but did Omar's goal go in? But Craig didn't do what others normally do, where everyone starts celebrating the goal, and he just actually was like, no, it's going in one way or another. That's going in. At that point, I know you weren't looking at your phone, Mark, apparently. Did you allow yourself to dream?
So Omar's goal, obviously Omar's goal was right at the other end of the pitch. It's these old eyes don't work quite so well, but I know it went in the back of the net. That was the important thing. But look, is allowed myself to dream. Yeah, I was. yeah. We the permutation had suddenly gone into my mind. Oh well, I won't look. But if Forest Green are winning and Exeter are winning, we're fifth.
I know. That was the daft, silly thing, is it wasn't just creeping into seventh.
And the silly thing, I mean, to be fair, I think for the first half, we didn't really look at our phones. But you didn't need to. Like, even when we weren't looking, you knew what had happened because people around you started going crazy. There were chants of, come on, you vegans, and people screaming for Fozzie Green. And it was all getting a little bit silly at points. But the game itself was a good one. You're right. The woodwork was hit several times. I think we could have both had at least 2 apiece from that. The scoreline should have been a lot bigger than it probably was. But
it was a job done. We did our bit. I think Tony said in the interview, I can't remember who to, but I think it might have been Tance, saying that it's a sense of at least we did our bit, because if we had lost and then found that the results had gone our way, that would have been so much more disappointing.
Oh, absolutely. I think at 1-0, if it had got to a point of, they'd equalised and then everything else had gone the way that we wanted it to, but it had been us that hadn't done our part, then I think, I think we would have been absolutely right to be completely and utterly gutted by it. But we did what we needed to do. Just got to be proud of where we've got to, I guess.
Well, I have to be very proud. I mean, Oaks, he said to the Gandemonian guys who tweeted it, and Oaks, it's like when AB gives a new word, we just accept it. If Oaksy comes out with a fact or a stat, you're going to just go, okay, that's got to be true. But he said that we're the first and only EFL 2 club to reach 76 points and not get into the playoffs, which is insane. And then the other side, which I hadn't thought about until I saw someone else mention it. I think it might have been Gab Sutton or one of the other guys, to say that actually we were 4 points off the automatics. And then you start worrying and talking about other games. But we'll leave that for another chat, another day.
So I'm going to throw this on there, Mike, is unfortunately the fact that we had 76 points and everyone was on similar points just goes to say about the bottom end of League Two. Yeah. And actually what's sitting and waiting in the National League. So you could almost swap the top half of National League with the bottom half of League Two, and actually it'll be a closer league season. So
much stronger. I have views on that, which are not very charitable, but I think that all the clubs that are in the National League that are begging for 3 up, 3 down, we should be looking at their voting record on the subject over the years and saying, no, you said no. When you were in the league, you said no to this. So we'll take...
I think we should go back to voting them in.
Now we're in. But yeah, you're right. It's one of those that, I mean, Scunthorpe have got to be one of the only teams I've ever seen in all the times we've been watching Sutton that you've gone, I feel really sorry for their fans because they just weren't trying. There was just nothing there. And I can't remember who it was. Somebody said, how was the match then? And I was like, Scunthorpe fans deserve a medal for watching that. It's not the skill level. Obviously, I've watched us in Ryman League and playing really badly. It's the effort that you just, if it's not there, I feel sorry for the fans. I know we had it a long time ago. A long time ago. But yes, yeah, so you're quite right. I think even without an awful lot of additions, we'd be safe next year and possibly the year after because there are some really toilet teams in there that only seem to buck up in January.
And there's always a team in League Two that's on a spiral from financial mismanagement or governance problems. So, as long as we don't go down that road, we should be okay.
I can't see it.
No, Bruce is never going to let that happen, is he?
Yeah, exactly.
No, and I think seeing some of the people that are in that spiral makes you like really, really grateful for what we have and the structure that we do have in place. I think watching kind of the likes of Oldham this season and what's happened, kind of their descent, it's really sad. And I mean, I absolutely feel for their fans. You know, it's not where you want to be ending up. Although, I mean, non-league's not that bad. They should be okay. We coped for 123 years, but it is something to be really grateful for. The kind of the structure that we have and the way that we run our club.
Yeah, I've said a couple of times that there was a time when we had Mickey Bailey and John Nurse and a couple of other players that we lost because we wouldn't break the wage structure. And there was a lot of talk at the time of, we're not really going for it. We're just never really going to succeed. And it was like, I kind of went away with, you know what? My club will be here in 20 years' time playing at a similar-ish level. We're playing a much higher level, but we don't have that worry of, if someone's going to come in and buy our club and what are they going to do with it? Do they just want the building site and stuff like that? So, yeah, you're quite right. And when Tommy from Oldham came on, I bless him, he spoke at absolute length with no notes of the just disasters that has happened to his club. And it's shocking. You're absolutely right. And yes, thank you to everyone who does run our club.
So I was going to pick. I've actually listened to a lot of your podcasts, Mike. I don't know why I do it to myself.
I'm sorry. So sorry.
But I think it was either the first or second one you interviewed Bruce, or you had Bruce on. Wasn't great sound, but we've cured that now. But Bruce actually said, I'm not sure people, and I'm paraphrasing, but I'm not sure people know what we do. And the funny thing is, and if you're listening, Bruce, we do know what you do. And we know exactly what you invest in this club. And we know that the club's in safe hands. And I think, I've had that in my mind since that podcast says 40 weeks ago, 35 weeks ago, or whatever it was. But we know what you do, and we're very proud of that as well.
Yeah, they do see it as custodians of the club. I have no idea how true this is because obviously I hear facts and I kind of interpret them how I perceive them. But I remember when the Carshalton fella, what's his name?
Dupree.
Apparently he wanted to come in and take over and invest a load of money. And they said, well, yes, for that money, you can have a seat on the board. Mm-hmm. And his thing was, no, I want to run the whole thing. And they went, no, you will have a seat at the table. And he didn't want a bar of it. And that's why he went to Carshalton. And that just makes you think, yes, the Euro Millions is 180 million next week. Yeah, I'll buy Sutton. No, you won't, son. It's not going to happen.
You could possibly have the Mike Dowling stand, but
the curver, my little bit of the curver. They can cut this side, they can cut this side. Just my little bit.
So, see, I've always wanted the Mark Back training facility, but I've got to buy a ticket.
Yeah, exactly. We're not advertising gambling, I don't know. But thank you for mentioning the vast number of podcasts, because that is one thing I want to say. Today's number 50. So
Nice.
Well, number 50 of this incarnation of it. There was, I can't remember how many were before, but yay, 50. So there is going to be, I'll put a shout out to anyone who wants to join the end of season wrap up, because we'll let disappointment go for a little while, and then we'll just look back, because it is, and Claire, I know you said different phrase of it, but I've been saying equal measures gutted and so proud. I did see a clip of Matt at the final whistle realising the result, and his face just fell. But fair play to all of you guys who were there, because by the time he turned to come back from clapping you guys off, the smile was back on his face again. So it was like, do you know what? He knows what he's done. It's such a proud season. But yeah, we'll revisit that another time. There's no game to look forward to for next week because it's all over. And also, to be fair, as I said to you, Mark, before we came on, we're rubbish in playoffs anyway. So we didn't particularly want to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, well, it was our chance to turn that over, wasn't it, Mike? But anyway,
we're
what
rubbish
could
in
have been?
playoffs.
So, que sera, sera.
Exactly. So I'm going to wrap it up nice and quick on this one, because it's the Band-Aid time to get it off and recover. There will be a few different ones through closed season. I've lined up Dave Fairbrother after he comes off the board, so I want to hear some juicy stories from him. And hopefully we'll get Matt on to talk about his 3 years, give him a little while to get over it. But I will do another closed season review in a week or so's time. Thank you all for listening. I will say this shout out as well, because some people have done it and found it on my website. There is a buy me a coffee type thing on the website if you want to put any donations to next year's license fees or whatever they're called. I don't know what they're called, but please do. Don't feel you have to, though. It's punishment enough that you can listen to me. So thank you all very much. Thank you, Claire, for your time. Thank you, Mark, for your time. And thank you for listening, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah!